Have you ever said something in English and then suddenly the other person looked a little uncomfortable?
Oh yes, that happens all the time, especially with English learners.
And the strange thing is, sometimes your grammar is perfect. Your pronunciation is clear. You use the right vocabulary. But somehow the conversation still feels awkward.
Exactly. And that's because being fluent isn't only about speaking correct English. It's also about knowing what's polite, what's natural, and what sounds a little too direct.
I think this surprises a lot of learners. They spend years studying grammar, memorizing vocabulary, and practicing listening. Then they finally have a real conversation with a native speaker, and something just feels off.
Right? And the good news is that most learners aren't actually rude. They just don't realize that some common phrases can sound much stronger in English than they do in their own language.
So today we're talking about those hidden mistakes.
Exactly. Small phrases, tiny habits, everyday expressions that can accidentally make you sound impatient, demanding, or even unfriendly.
And honestly, these are mistakes that even advanced learners make.
Absolutely. I'd even say some B2 learners make them more often because they know enough English to communicate easily, but they haven't yet developed that cultural instinct for how conversations really work.
That's interesting. So, it's not really about vocabulary anymore.
No, it's about tone.
Tone is such a difficult word to explain.
It really is. Think about this. Imagine someone walks up to you and says, "Give me your phone."
That sounds very aggressive.
Exactly. But now imagine they say, "Could I borrow your phone for a second, please?"
Completely different.
Same request, different tone.
So today's episode is really about making your English sound warmer.
Warmer, friendlier, and more natural.
And hopefully avoiding those moments where people secretly think, "Wow, that was a bit rude."
Exactly.
All right, let's start with one of the biggest mistakes learners make.
Direct commands.
Yes.
I've heard this one many times.
Imagine you're in an office. You want a colleague to send you a document.
Easy.
Many learners simply say, "Send me the file."
Grammatically correct,
Perfect grammar.
but not perfect communication.
Exactly. To a native English speaker, especially in countries like the UK, Canada, Australia, or even many workplaces in the US, that sentence sounds like an order.
Even if you don't mean it that way.
That's the important part. Intentions don't always match how your words are received.
So, what's a better way?
There are several. You could say, "Could you send me the file, please?" Or, "Would you mind sending me the file?" Or even, "When you have a moment, could you send me the file?"
I love that last one.
Me too. It shows respect for the other person's time.
It doesn't sound demanding.
Exactly. English often softens requests with little phrases,
Like, could you?
right?
Would you mind?
Exactly.
Would it be possible?
That's another excellent one.
And even something simple like, please, makes a huge difference.
Definitely. But here's something interesting.
Go on.
Some learners think adding "please" automatically fixes everything.
Doesn't it?
Not always.
Really?
Imagine saying, "Close the door, please."
Hmm.
It's better than "close the door."
But it still sounds like an instruction.
Exactly. Compare that with, "Could you close the door, please?"
Oh, yes.
That feels much more polite.
Because you're asking instead of telling.
That's such a small difference.
It is. And native speakers notice it immediately, even if they don't consciously think about it.
So, if learners remember only one thing from today's episode,
Remember this. English often prefers questions over commands.
That's a fantastic rule.
Instead of saying, help me.
Say, could you help me?
Instead of open the window.
Could you open the window?
Instead of explain this.
Would you mind explaining this?
Exactly.
And I think there's another reason this matters.
What's that?
When you're polite, people are usually happier to help you.
That's absolutely true. Good communication isn't just about sounding educated. It's about making other people feel comfortable.
And once people feel comfortable talking to you,
Conversations become much more natural.
which is exactly what every English learner wants.
Absolutely.
And believe it or not, direct commands are only the beginning. There are everyday phrases that seem completely harmless but can make you sound impatient, critical, or even disrespectful without you realizing it.
And some of those mistakes happen in restaurants, at work, with friends, and even during job interviews.
Those are definitely worth talking about next. So we've talked about direct commands. They're easy to fix once you know the pattern. But I have a feeling the next mistake is even more common.
It is. And the funny thing is, people usually learn this phrase very early.
Really?
Yep. The phrase is, I want.
Oh, that's interesting. Because every beginner learns I want.
Exactly. It's one of the first sentence structures people memorize. I want water. I want coffee. I want a ticket.
And technically, none of those are wrong.
They're not wrong. But in many situations, they sound much more direct than native speakers would normally be.
So if I walk into a cafe and say, I want a coffee, what happens?
The barista will probably understand you perfectly. They'll take your order. Nobody will be shocked.
But
Sound a little blunt. Almost like you're making a demand instead of placing an order.
so it's not about correctness. It's about how it feels.
Exactly. Native speakers usually soften requests without even thinking about it.
So what would they say instead?
I'd like a coffee, please.
That's much softer.
Or, can I have a coffee, please?
I hear that one all the time.
Exactly. It's one of the most natural ways to order food or drinks.
So instead of, I want a burger,
I'd like a burger, please.
instead of, I want the menu,
Could I see the menu, please?
instead of, I want the bill.
Could we have the bill, please?
That sounds much friendlier.
It really does. And these little changes make people feel respected.
I remember hearing someone say, I want water.
Right?
And it wasn't rude on purpose.
No, not at all.
But because there wasn't any please or could I, it sounded almost like they expected immediate service.
Exactly. English speakers often value indirect language. It's part of showing consideration for other people.
That's fascinating because in some languages, saying, I want is completely normal.
That's true. Every language has different social rules.
Which means translating directly isn't always the best idea.
That's probably one of the biggest lessons for language learners.
Don't translate.
Translate the intention.
I love that.
If your intention is to be polite, your English should sound polite too.
Okay, here's another situation.
Go ahead.
You're talking to a coworker. You need help with something. So you say, I need this today.
That's another sentence that can sound stronger than people expect.
Even though it's true?
Yes, the information may be true, but the delivery matters.
So how would you soften it?
You could say, would it be possible to finish this today?
Nice.
Or, if possible, could we get this done today?
That feels much more collaborative.
Exactly. Instead of giving orders, you're inviting cooperation,
That's a great way to think about it.
especially in professional environments.
Speaking of work, there's another phrase I hear quite often.
Which one?
You should.
Ah, yes.
For example, you should change this.
Or, you should do it differently.
What's wrong with that?
Well, should gives advice. But if you're not careful, it can sound like criticism.
Especially if someone didn't ask for advice.
Exactly.
So instead of saying, you should rewrite this report,
You could say, maybe we could revise this section.
Or,
One idea might be to rewrite this paragraph.
that sounds much less personal.
Because you're focusing on improving the work, not judging the person.
That's an important distinction.
Very important.
What if someone asks for your opinion directly?
Then should is perfectly fine.
Like, which laptop should I buy?
Exactly. They invited your advice.
But if nobody asked,
It's often better to be a little more careful.
that makes sense.
Here's another expression that's surprisingly common.
I'm ready.
You're wrong.
ooh,
That's probably one of the fastest ways to make a conversation uncomfortable.
Even if the other person actually is wrong?
Yes,
wow,
native speakers usually disagree more gently.
what would they say?
I'm not sure that's quite right.
Nice.
Or, I see it a little differently.
That's very diplomatic.
Another one is, I think there might be a misunderstanding.
Oh, I like that.
It shifts the focus away from blaming someone.
Instead of saying, you made a mistake,
Exactly.
it feels like English conversations often try to protect the relationship,
That's a great observation,
even during disagreements,
especially during disagreements.
because anyone can disagree.
But not everyone knows how to disagree respectfully.
And that's a skill that helps you in interviews,
At work,
at university.
even with friends and family.
So we've covered direct commands, saying I want, giving advice to directly, and correcting people without sounding harsh.
And believe me, we're just getting started.
Because next, we're going to look at everyday expressions that seem completely innocent but can secretly make you sound impatient, dismissive, or even a little arrogant.
Those are some of the easiest mistakes to make, and some of the easiest to fix once you notice them.
Okay, James, I have a feeling this next section is going to surprise people.
I think so too, because these aren't obvious mistakes. They're the kind of phrases that sound perfectly normal in your head.
Until you hear how native speakers actually say them.
Exactly.
So, what's the first one?
One word, why?
Wait, just why?
Just why?
But that's a normal question.
It is. The problem isn't the word itself. It's how it's used.
Explain.
Imagine your coworker tells you they're leaving work early,
Okay.
and you immediately ask why.
Hmm.
It can sound like you're challenging them.
Almost as if you're saying, you need to justify yourself.
Exactly.
So what sounds better?
Oh, is everything okay?
That's much warmer.
Or, if you don't mind me asking, what's going on?
I like that one because it gives the other person a choice.
Right? You're respecting their privacy.
So it's not that why is rude,
No, context matters.
but asking with a little more care changes everything.
Absolutely.
What's another phrase people don't realize sounds harsh?
Calm down.
Oh,
That's probably one of the least effective things you can say to someone who's upset.
Because nobody actually calms down after hearing calm down.
Exactly.
In fact, they usually get even more frustrated.
That's been my experience.
So what could you say instead?
Let's figure this out together.
Nice.
Or take your time.
That's comforting.
Another option is, I understand you're frustrated.
That shows empathy first.
Exactly. People want to feel understood before they want solutions.
That's true in every language, honestly.
It really is.
Here's another one I've heard learners use.
Go ahead.
Obviously.
Ah, yes.
Why is that a problem?
Because, obviously, can accidentally make the other person feel stupid.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine someone asks you a question,
Okay.
and you answer, well, obviously you need to restart your computer.
Ouch.
You're suggesting the answer should have been obvious.
Even if you didn't mean it that way.
Exactly.
So what could you say instead?
One thing you could try is restarting your computer.
That's much kinder.
Or sometimes restarting it fixes the problem.
You're giving information instead of judging.
Exactly.
I never realized one word could change the whole feeling of a sentence.
It really can.
Speaking of single words,
Yes.
what about saying, actually?
That's a great example.
I use actually all the time.
Native speakers do too.
So what's the issue?
Again, context.
Of course.
Imagine someone says, Paris is the capital of Germany.
Definitely not.
You reply, actually, Paris is the capital of France.
That seems fine.
It is.
But
Imagine someone says, I really enjoyed that movie.
okay,
And you immediately respond, actually, it wasn't very good.
oh, now it sounds like you're correcting their opinion.
Exactly.
Almost like you're saying their opinion is wrong.
Right?
So instead,
Personally, I had a different impression.
Nice.
Or, for me, it didn't really work.
that's softer because you're talking about yourself.
Exactly.
Instead of presenting your opinion as a fact.
That's one of the biggest differences between sounding confident and sounding arrogant.
That's such a good point.
Here's another habit.
I'm listening.
Interrupting people with no.
Oh,
Imagine I say, I think the meeting starts at 10.
And I immediately say, no, it's at 9.
That feels pretty abrupt.
What should I say?
I think it might actually be at 9.
Better already.
Or, if I remember correctly, it's at 9.
You're correcting the information without attacking the person.
Exactly.
It's funny, because native speakers seem to disagree all the time.
They do.
But somehow it doesn't sound like an argument.
Because they often soften disagreement with little expressions.
Like, I think.
As far as I know,
If I'm not mistaken,
from what I've read,
those phrases leave room for conversation.
exactly,
Instead of saying, I'm right and you're wrong.
right?
I think that's something learners don't always notice when watching English TV shows or listening to podcasts.
Because those little phrases are easy to miss.
They're tiny.
But they have a huge impact.
It's almost like they're social glue.
I couldn't have said it better.
They make conversations smoother
More respectful.
and much more enjoyable for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
So far, we've talked about making requests politely, ordering food naturally, giving advice carefully, disagreeing respectfully, and avoiding words that accidentally sound judgmental.
And next, We're moving into something people experience almost every day. Conversations with coworkers, classmates, neighbors, and even strangers.
Because there are certain questions and comments that many learners think are friendly, but native speakers sometimes find a little too personal.
And once you know those differences, your conversations become much more natural.
Okay, James, this next topic is one I've always found fascinating because it isn't really about grammar at all.
Not even a little.
It's about knowing what people are comfortable talking about.
Exactly. Every culture has subjects that are considered personal. In English-speaking cultures, especially in countries like the UK, Canada, Australia, and the US, often place a high value on personal space and privacy.
Which means a question that feels completely normal in one country might feel very uncomfortable somewhere else.
That's right.
So, let's start with the question that many learners ask without thinking.
How much do you earn?
That's a big one.
It really is.
In some cultures, people ask that quite openly.
They do. It's just part of everyday conversation.
But in English?
Unless you're very close to someone, it's generally considered a private question.
So, if you meet someone for the first time,
That's definitely not the question to ask.
what if you're just curious about salaries in a certain profession?
Then ask about the job, not the person's income.
For example,
What's it like working as a software engineer?
nice.
Or is it a field with good career opportunities?
You're learning something without making the conversation uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Here's another one.
Let me guess.
How old are you?
Another classic.
Is it always rude?
No, children ask it all the time.
That's true.
But adults usually avoid asking unless there's a clear reason.
Especially if you've just met someone.
Exactly.
So instead of focusing on age,
Focus on shared interests.
like hobbies,
Travel.
Work.
Books.
movies,
Food.
those topics are much easier for people to enjoy.
Definitely.
What about asking someone if they're married?
That's another question that depends on your relationship.
Why?
Because people may have personal reasons they don't want to discuss.
Right.
Maybe they're single.
Maybe they're divorced,
Maybe they're dealing with something difficult.
and you have no way of knowing.
Exactly.
So instead of asking, why aren't you married?
You could simply let the conversation develop naturally.
If they want to talk about their family,
They usually will.
that's a really good rule.
Don't force personal conversations.
Let people choose what they want to share.
Exactly.
I've also noticed that learners sometimes comment on people's appearance without realizing how it sounds.
Yes, and that's an important one.
Like saying, you look tired.
That's incredibly common.
I always thought it sounded caring.
Sometimes it is.
But
Imagine hearing that first thing in the morning.
you'd immediately wonder if you look terrible.
Exactly.
So what could you say instead?
If you're genuinely concerned, try, "How are you feeling today?"
That's much better.
Or, "Is everything okay?"
You're checking on the person without commenting on how they look.
Right?
What about saying, you've gained weight?
That's another sentence to avoid in most English-speaking cultures.
Even if you don't mean anything negative.
Exactly. People generally don't comment on someone else's body unless it's clearly welcome.
So compliments are safer?
Yes, but choose them carefully.
Like,
"I love your jacket."
Nice.
"That's a great haircut."
easy.
"You have a beautiful smile."
Those feel positive without being intrusive.
Exactly.
Okay, I have another example.
Go for it.
You're visiting someone's home for the first time,
All right.
and you say, "Your house is small."
Even if you're simply making an observation.
It sounds like criticism.
Exactly.
So instead,
Find something positive.
such as,
Your home feels really cozy.
"I like that."
Or, you've decorated it beautifully.
That's a genuine compliment.
Exactly.
It's amazing how often English speakers choose positive observations instead of neutral ones.
That's a very important cultural habit.
Because a neutral comment in one language can sound negative in another.
Absolutely.
Here's one more.
Let's hear it.
Someone tells you they're excited about a new project,
Okay.
and you reply, "That'll never work."
Oof.
Very direct.
Even if you're trying to be realistic.
What's a better response?
That sounds interesting. Have you thought about the challenges?
Nice.
Or, I can see the potential. What's your plan if something goes wrong?
You're encouraging discussion instead of shutting the idea down.
Exactly.
That's something I really notice in English conversations.
What's that?
People often disagree by asking questions,
Yes.
instead of making absolute statements.
Questions invite conversation.
Statements often end it.
That's a great way to put it.
So, today we've moved beyond vocabulary.
Much further.
We've talked about respect, empathy, privacy, and choosing words that make other people feel comfortable.
Because those skills are what turn good English into natural English.
And in our final section, we're going to bring everything together with real-life conversations.
We'll compare rude-sounding English with natural, polite English that native speakers actually use every day.
Those examples are probably the easiest way to remember everything we've discussed.
I completely agree.
We've covered a lot today.
We really have.
But I think the best way to finish is by putting everything into real conversations.
I agree. It's one thing to learn the rules, but it's another thing to hear them in action.
Exactly.
So, let's imagine a few everyday situations.
Sounds good.
You're at work, and you need your manager to review your report,
A lot of learners might say, check my report,
which is clear.
but it sounds like an instruction.
So, what would sound more natural?
Could you take a look at my report when you have a chance?
I love that phrase, when you have a chance.
Native speakers use it all the time because it shows respect for the other person's schedule.
Here's another one.
Go ahead.
You're in a restaurant.
A classic situation.
Instead of saying, "I want chicken,"
You could say, I'd like the grilled chicken, please.
Or,
Could I have the grilled chicken, please?
instantly more natural.
Exactly.
Okay, next situation.
You're meeting someone at work for the first time.
And instead of asking, "How much money do you make?"
You ask, what do you enjoy most about your job?
That's such a better conversation starter.
Because people generally enjoy talking about their experiences,
Instead of defending their personal choices.
right?
Here's another.
Let's hear it.
Your friend says they're learning to play the guitar.
Nice.
You could say, "You'll never be good at it."
That's not very encouraging.
Definitely not.
Instead, try, that's awesome. How long have you been practicing?
You're showing interest.
Exactly.
Or maybe, "I'd love to hear you play sometime."
That's supportive without putting pressure on them.
I think encouragement is something English speakers value a lot.
They do, especially in casual conversations.
okay,
Here's one that happens almost every day.
Someone makes a small mistake.
Maybe they pronounce a word incorrectly.
right?
You could immediately say, "No, that's wrong."
Or you could say, almost. It's pronounced like this.
Much friendlier.
Or even, that's really close.
I like that.
Because you're recognizing what they did well before correcting them.
That's probably why good teachers sound so encouraging.
Exactly.
They don't make people feel embarrassed.
They make people feel confident enough to keep speaking.
And confidence is everything when you're learning a language.
It really is.
I also think learners worry too much about perfect grammar.
I couldn't agree more.
They spend 5 minutes trying to build the perfect sentence.
Meanwhile, native speakers are paying much more attention to whether you sound friendly, respectful, and interested.
That's such an important point.
You can make a small grammar mistake and still have a wonderful conversation.
But if your tone sounds impatient,
People notice that much faster.
so politeness isn't just about saying please.
Not at all.
It's about showing consideration,
Exactly.
listening carefully,
Giving people time to speak.
asking instead of ordering,
Suggesting instead of criticizing.
respecting people's privacy,
Showing empathy before giving advice.
being curious instead of judgmental.
And remembering that every conversation is between two people, not just two vocabularies.
I really like that sentence.
Thanks.
You know, I think that's one of the biggest differences between speaking English and communicating well in English.
Absolutely.
Vocabulary helps people understand your words.
But kindness helps people remember you.
That's a beautiful way to end today's discussion.
And it's true.
So, here's a challenge for everyone listening.
I'm listening too.
Over the next week, pay attention to how native speakers make requests, disagree politely, and ask questions.
Don't just notice the big words.
Listen for the small ones.
Words like could, would, might, perhaps, and phrases like when you have a moment or if you don't mind.
Those little expressions are everywhere.
And once you start using them naturally, your English will immediately sound more confident, more respectful, and much closer to the way native speakers actually communicate.
Remember, becoming fluent isn't only about learning more words.
It's also about choosing the right words at the right moment.
And sometimes the smallest change in a sentence creates the biggest difference in how people feel.
Exactly.
Thanks so much for spending this time with us today. We hope this conversation helps you feel more confident the next time you speak English.
Keep practicing, stay curious, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every conversation teaches you something new.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Take care and keep speaking English every day.